guys, back here on the Caprice, and I'm just ready to put the springs and the cylinders in. You can tell here that I cleaned up the frame, the wire wheel, the side of the frame anyway, and I put the control arm in with the new bushings and everything. So it's kind of sitting okay, but it definitely needs to be cleaned up some more, and I'll probably be doing that later on when I do the lower control arm. And I think next year I want to pull the engine and give it a nice paint job and paint the rest of the frame on the inside. So at that time I'll do the rest. I also want to do that lower control arm in chrome, and at least paint the steering linkage. I may go so far as to chrome it. I don't know yet, but I think I may make chrome plate that sway bar. I always like that look. And I'm just going to put everything together now on this side. I'm just going to try using this short stack of springs for now, just see how it sits. It may sit too low for my taste, but I was trying to go low in the front, not extremely low, but I have a feeling these will sit low. I do have another stack of coils that were given to me by someone else. I may end up going with those, but for now I'm just going to put these in and see how it sits. If they need to be changed, then I will. This bottom ball joint was in pretty good shape. It's just the boot that was really torn up. So I'm just going to pull off this old boot and then replace it. Just as another note, I did put in some new ball joints on the top. Well, I had to because of the control arm. But I also added grease through the grease nipple here, and I'll put some new grease in this bottom one as well. It makes the ball joints last a hell of a lot longer. Make sure you put your donut on top of the cylinder. I've made that mistake before, forgetting to do this part. This will this will rest on this collar here, and will then, when you hit the switch and they want to raise the car up, this will hit against will support against the inside of the frame, and the cylinder will go down and against the lower control arm and raise the car up. So the cylinder just has to go through the hole that we cut out with that hole saw before. And then a spring just has to get placed in the bottom control arm, like so. And don't forget about this cup that has to go on top of the spring. The cylinder goes into that hole there. I'll put in a bolt later on through the bottom of the control arm, through this hole, and straight into the cylinder. Therefore, everything will be secure after that. I forgot to mention that you have to spin the spring a little bit just to make sure it seats the way it should. And there you go. Just gonna put the spindle back on. And there we go. Just gonna tighten everything back up now. I just wanted to show you the extension of the control arm. You can actually see it from the side. You could see the way the wheel is tilted out, because the top control arm is extended, I believe, by an inch. So moving on to the back here, this original spring perch has to come out. I do not recommend welding to this perch. It's a weak weld from the factory, and it's fine for the stock coil that's in there, but that has to come out, and angle iron has to be welded onto there with the swivel cup, Powerball, whatever you want to call it, onto the rear end, onto the 90-degree angle metal, or onto the C-channel, and the cylinder then has to be mounted to that. So it's going to get these brake lines out of the way. Simple clip right there, and there's one underneath this undercoating here. Just kind of bend that out of the way, and then I will grind the welds down here and just pry this off. Okay guys, so I got these swivel cups, Powerballs, tacked up to some angle iron right here. I didn't have a C channel, so what I decided to do was just use these two pieces of angle here and just tack these into place, see if they fit over the axle, and they do. Here's the spring perch cut out, so there's that. It'll fit on the axle nicely. I kind of gouged the axle there a little bit, so I just filled it up with some weld afterwards. Oh well. So what I'll do is I'll be able to weld up this underneath there, what's right along those lines, and I'll be able to drop this on top of the axle there, be able to run a bead along here in the front as well, and I'll be able to put a little bead here, and along this area as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weld up this fully here now on both sides, being careful not to plug up the grease nipple in here. Okay guys, so I have the spring on top of that cup, and the cylinder has gone through the top of the frame there, and the mount there is about to be welded onto the axle, as you can see there, and I'm just going to just tack that into place, make sure that the cylinder is actually centered up in the hole. What's going to happen is if it's off to one side, it's going to squeak, it's going to rub against the frame and the inside of the trunk as well. I'll show you a quick peek inside the trunk. Never mind the mismatched cylinder colors there, they'll be painted later on. Everything, I just want to make sure everything's assembled properly, and everything seems to be okay right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and tack that up into place, and if everything's good, I will put the car back on the ground and see how it sits. Okay guys, there we go. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit higher in the front and lower in the back, but it's got that nice squat there, and can't wait to take it for a little spin.